Welcome back to Into Search. I'm your host, Scott Sanders, known for speedy reviews and detailed how-tos. So you have a high-engine vehicle. I know your time is valuable, so is mine, so let's get straight to it. We want to spray Seafoam to try to get rid of the carbon deposits in the air intake. Now what that's going to do is you're going to have your piston that needs to get fired, and they have an explosion that happens that makes it move up and down. So in your cylinder, you have a spark plug at one angle, and you have a fuel injector another angle, and a little air intake, so you get a little bit of spray of fuel, you get a little bit of air, and then the spark ignites it, boom, the piston starts moving. So if you have your car and it's shuddering a little bit and stuttering, this one they lock the engine up, we swap to a new one. The new one we think has fuel injector problems, so it's not getting adequate spray, but we're going to find out. So we're going to put Seafoam in the gas tank. That'll go through the fuel line, it'll go through the fuel rail, and it'll get to those fuel injectors, and it'll help clean them out. So you also can do the air intake, because remember, it's part fuel, part air. So you're going to take off the air intake right here, and once we drop that off, I'll show you what it looks like. And you're going to spray Seafoam straight into there, the whole freaking can. And then you're going to let it sit about an hour, and after an hour, you're going to start it back up again. You're just going to rev it to about 1 to 2,000, just the 1 or 2 on your RPMs. You don't have to worry about the 1,000 parts, but keep it around in between 1 and 2, and you'll see a bunch of smoke coming out your Cadillac converter. Now also on high engine vehicles, high mileage ones, you have to worry that if you do have a really old Cadillac converter, it takes the exhaust and it makes it non-poisonous for our atmosphere. So when it comes out your muffler, so when it comes through it, it's like a honeycomb. If it's already old, it's already caked up a little bit, these carbon deposits can actually fill into that and actually ruin your Cadillac converter. So do this at your own risk. You don't have a big risk if you have a vehicle that's not up to, what's this, about 200,000 miles. So take this as your own, but a lot of people swear by it, and I do too. I did it to my truck, didn't do a video to it, but it actually ran better after that. It got rid of the putting and the stuttering. I call it the hokey pokey. When you're driving and you feel like someone bumped you from behind, but nobody hit you, it just misfired a little bit. So we're gonna find out. All right, stay tuned. Okay, so what I like to do is start with the Seafoam and the gas tank. Now most gas tanks, these is a real old model, your new ones won't have a gas cap. So that means you don't want to fill it up too full. So when you go to put this in, you want 3/4 to almost a full tank. But when it comes to the capless gas caps, it creates a vacuum. So you don't want to fill them up too much. So don't try to fill up your tank and then add this in. Probably pour it in first, but we're not right now. So definitely want to pour the whole entire can into your gas system. This is hopefully going to break it up on your fuel pump, your fuel filter. It's going to go into your fuel rail, into your fuel injectors. It's going to take a while. It's going to take the whole gas tank. Some people are worried, well, do I have too much of this in there? You could put 2 or 3 of these in there. It's just going to break it up more. Seafoam is really more of like a, what's it called, a petroleum base and some other chemicals, but it's all healthy for your engine. Nothing then it's going to really burn it up or mess it up. So don't feel bad if you only have half a tank and you have one of these. Oh, am I putting too much in there? They want to say 1 liter per gallon of gas. So this is probably a 15 to 18 gallon gas tank. Mine's a 22, so this whole thing can do my whole engine. But if you have a really old one, you might want to go ahead and put 2 in it. It's not going to hurt it. All right, so this is the spray for the top engine cleaner and lube. It's going to come with this little straw. You don't even need that part. Just rip it off. Take your cap off. I know you're thirsty. We'll help you. So you got to feed this in there good. Now I've seen videos where people say you need another person probably to help you with this because they need to stay in there. See, it gets a little air in this. It's better, so it probably is. This flap is probably messing up a little bit, stopping it from breathing. So you want somebody on the inside to push the gas pedal, so it messes with this throttle and keeps that open. The more air it gets, the more it's going to start going faster. But I've heard people, they put this right here, and it sucks so strong, it sucks the red straw in. So definitely hold one hand, hold with this hand, make sure you spray as good as you can. Just like that, get that in there. Don't worry about me, just get in there. Alright, so you want to get this right in there where you can spray it all over your finger stones. So when it revs up, it'll suck it down. So that's what helps. If someone else is in there, keep on the gas around 1 on the RPMs, which is 1,000, but just keep it on the 1 because your wife might be doing it. What's 1,000? It's only at 1, honey. So I'm going to pause it real quick, but we're going to spray this whole can in there to clean this out. Okay, now also, when you're going to do this engine's going to get hot, and this can takes a while to spray it all the way through. So you might want to put a towel down or something if you're leaning up against the engine. Most people are going to be like, no shit, Sherlock. But if you've never done this before, you're not thinking about that. So for those who are about to get a burn, I salute you. So spray it all over the intake. Make good in there. And then after you do the whole can, you want to let it sit for about an hour or two to break everything up. And then you're going to come back out, start her up, and rev it. You're going to have a ton of smoke coming out your muffler. And again, you just want to keep it around 1 or 2 when you're letting it go through the muffler. You probably can't hear me because this thing's yelling. All right, so if you get like 90, 95% of the can, don't worry about getting every drop out of it. That doesn't matter. Now just let it sit. Let it sit about an hour. When you come out, it is going to be smoke central. White smoke all over the place. That lets you know it's going through the whole system. It's burning out. And don't worry about the whole can being in there. Oh, is that too much? Don't worry. It's petroleum based. It's good for the engine. It actually lubricates and helps burn all the carbon deposits out. Just burn it up. Like, it's all going to burn up, so you don't have to worry about it. And it's going to take a while for that smoke to disappear. When it comes out, you're going to be like, holy shit. That lets you know it's working. You're good. As you can see, here comes the carbon deposits. So you're going to see a bunch of smoke. That's light. It's just going to get worse and worse. But it's good. So that's the carbon deposits flying through everything. So again, if you put in the one on the air intake, it's going to clean out the air intake. It's going to clean out where the piston and the cylinders are. 6, 8 of them, whatever you have. It's going to clean sensors and lubricate. And then it's also going to clean off the spark plugs. So if it runs better after doing this, you know it was either spark plugs, the sensor, the pistons not being able to slide properly, or it goes into the exhaust manifold, which will have high and low sensors, and also your Cadillac converter to your muffler. So if those were clogged or anything like that, this is helping pump that out. So you'll know it had to do with that. If you feel the stutter afterwards, you have to remember we put the gas tank treatment in of Seafoam. That's going to take you driving the whole thing out. And it might not feel right away that you do it, but that's going to help clean fuel injectors, fuel lines, fuel filters, fuel pump, so on and so on. So if it doesn't really get it through the air, try that one. Try the oil, do the gas again. Doing an oil treatment's not really worth it. It's not going to really change anything for you. But you can see the smoke coming out. It's going to come out for quite a while, so I don't want to take like a 5 to 10 minute video. We'll put it more towards the end of it when I see it getting more clear. You're just going to keep running it to get all that smoke out. Okay, so from an engine that was locked up from no oil, swap that one out, put the new one in. The new one probably had problems and carbon buildup. It looked like it's driving now. So hopefully this helps you get something running smoother, a little cleaner.
Okay.
And for high mileage vehicles. Okay. Now normally you have a 95% success rate when you use Seafoam and all that it's not going to mess up the Cadillac converter. The situations I would assume is if, say, you have a old couple and they're about the person got handicapped or they couldn't drive anymore and they've had that vehicle just sitting out somewhere for about a couple years, maybe 5 or 10, and they just let it sit a whole bunch. I would oil change it first before you try to run Seafoam and dump the gas and put some new gas in it, because that would be the only problems I would think that you would mess up the Cadillac converter. But other than that, she's driving and she's going good. Thanks for tuning in. So all said and done, this one's a super easy. Anybody can do it. It's kind of fun because if you've ever seen the Uncle Buck movies, or maybe Chevy Chase ones, yeah, and you see that thing smoking, all that white smoke coming out, everybody's like, oh my God. But for you, you know what's happening. So if you think I deserve it, go ahead and hit the like button. Let some other people see this, and subscribe if you would like to. I'm guaranteed to give you a whole bunch of stuff where I've tested and tried it 100 times at a minimum. I do this all in one take. So most of what you see is just straight up here. And that's because I've done it so much, it's easy to teach it out to you. So thanks for stopping by. See you next time. And remember, it's never too late to be what you were. George Eliot. And let's add a joke in there. Speaking of age, one moment you're young and you're fun. And the next moment, you're turning down the car stereo so you can see the road better. Age is funny that way. Stay young.